Hey guys!
Hello!
Welcome back to another video. This one took slightly longer to do. Reason being, I waited for a new toy of mine. Let me quickly give you a tour of Here we go. I got a new toy that brings the microphone closer to us.
Boys and their toys.
Reason being, we got one comment last week that when we did the rapid fire questions, one couldn't hear us good enough. So I thought this is the perfect excuse to get the toy I wanted for quite a while.
So let me get this right. You bought this because of one comment. Okay.
I bought it because I wanted it, but that one comment triggered it. Makes sense, right?
I blame you, Maurus.
Yeah, right. Good job. So anyway, the last episode was about cultural differences. We talked a little bit about culture in general. We had a bit of a babble about, cultural aspects that we talked about Switzerland, England, New Zealand. It was a bit of a lengthy episode, but we didn't want to cut it short. We wanted to keep it the way it is. And we also mentioned that one way that Layla and I enjoy or want to learn about a specific culture is by food. Like, this is an area where we think we learn a lot about a different culture. It's not just about what you eat, it's how you eat it, it's the way you enjoy it.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is different in different areas in the world.
Yeah.
So we won't travel much this year.
No, we won't.
No, for obvious reasons, but we also had this planned anyway to do a bit more domestic.
To explore our own country, really, to see what it has to offer. And
Yeah, Switzerland is not the ugliest of places in the world, I would say.
no.
Right? So, but since the borders open on the 15th of June and you may or may not want to visit this beautiful country in the future, we thought we'll give you a bit of a rundown on what we would recommend you trying in terms of food and what little things to look out for when you do come and visit, when you do want to deep dive a little bit into the Swiss food culture. So let's start with the most important meal of the day. I think we have to be honest. Breakfast is not something Layla and I do a lot.
We don't have a lot of breakfast.
Right.
We kind of skip it. We go straight to lunch. But for you guys, we'll give a little quick rundown on what you could experience in Switzerland.
I think it is very important to say that Switzerland has quite a big coffee culture.
Yes.
And it's not because we grow any beans, but we do make and produce and manufacture awesome coffee machines. So there's a lot of knowledge about coffee in Switzerland, and you will see the coffee culture is quite big here. We enjoy going to a bakery, sit down and have a coffee. We also drink different coffee than other places. It's not necessarily espresso coffee like you do in Italy and France, but we have something that is called a coffee cream. It's essentially a bit more than a double espresso, but it's just a creamy coffee.
Yeah, it's like a long coffee.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
A long, strong coffee.
Yeah. And I think it takes a lot to go wrong here.
Yes.
In many, many places you will find good coffee. Also, when you do search a place to have coffee and maybe breakfast, I would highly recommend you find a bakery and sit down and enjoy your coffee and breakfast there. You can look for cafes and stuff, but if you want to experience a bit of Swiss culture, starting in the morning, get yourself to a bakery and sit down, have a coffee. And I highly recommend you, this is me speaking, I am a plumber of trade, and we used to religiously do this. It's a thing we call snoonie, which sort of translates to at 9 o'clock.
So 9 o'clock.
So 9 o'clock sharp, and you'll notice this is the Swiss punctuality
Punctuality, yes.
that we live by. Get yourself into a bakery around 8:45. Make sure you have a space, and especially when you're a bit out, enjoy the rush that comes in and sits down and enjoys their 9 o'clock break until 9:30. Religiously still, I think, done. Right?
Definitely.
And what would you recommend people having with a coffee?
Ooh, I always love the Bircher muesli. And what that is, that you've got your yogurt. It's like a pot of yogurt, your grated apple. You've got hazelnuts in there. What else is in there?
Well, the base is oats. You soak oats. Technically, originally done soaked in water. I prefer it in milk, to be honest.
Well, it makes it nice and creamy.
Nice and rich. But yeah, Bircher muesli.
Yeah. And that is from Zurich.
Zurich, yes. Super simple, very delicious.
Yes.
Another thing that is interesting, is not healthy at all, but it is delicious once you have it. I gotta say, it's like I never have it because I avoid going to bakeries sometimes as well, because I don't really want to fall into the trap. But if I do go into a bakery, I have to have a croissant, which, you know, they're good in different places in the world, but they're exceptionally good here, I think. I love a croissant. We call it Gipfeli.
A Gipfeli.
There are different types, but definitely coffee and a Gipfeli.
Yeah.
They're a good way to start your day. Gipfeli, Bircher muesli, and a good coffee, and then just soak up the atmosphere. I would say it's just like you have all your builders, your tradesmen, and they just, like I said, religiously walk into a bakery at 9 o'clock and enjoy their coffee and their tsnuni, as we call it. Moving on to lunch. A bit tricky to say what exactly to have for lunch, but before we go into what you should have, there's another cultural thing. I think I talked about this when we had our little chat. Again, very religiously, is the fact that we actually sort of celebrate lunch, if you will.
Yes.
You will find a lot of places, even the ones that are tucked away, to be chock-a-blocked over lunch, right? We just enjoy that hour break. Sometimes it's an hour and 15, sometimes it's an hour and a half.
Well, that's the influence from Italy,
Yeah,
isn't it?
correct.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
In fact, the further south you go, if you go to the Italian part of Switzerland, you will find that the lunch break might end up being 2.5 hours. So the further south you go, but I like that influence, that we enjoy a meal, we enjoy sitting down, people get out their office. So for instance, I work in Germany quite a bit, and even though we might have very similar cultural aspects, this is one that I had to learn is very different. It's a necessity, lunch. Yeah. You sit down in your canteen, you have your food, that's it. As we're here, you know, we go out of our way, go and sit in a restaurant and have lunch together. I call it the holy hour. That's what I said in the last video. My former boss had to learn that I will not be available to him in that hour. You can call me any time of day, but that's the 1 hour you shouldn't call. So what to have for lunch? That's a tricky one.
They call it a fitness plate.
A fitness plate? And what do you as a nutritionist say about the fitness plate?
Well, you do have plenty of vegetables on there and salad, but it comes drenched with some nice sauce or creamy sauce. You got your fried chicken on top. So it's kind of your half fitness, half cheat.
I would say it's an alibi. I want to feel good, but I still want to eat something nice kind of plate. Does that make sense?
It does taste good though. I gotta say I like it.
Yeah. It's funny because all it is salad and meat. Sometimes you get a handful of chips with it.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it anywhere else being called a fitness plate.
Yeah,
right.
True. I know what you like.
What do I like?
It sounds kind of weird, but a sausage and cheese salad.
Yes. 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 Absolutely. Well, essentially what it is a very typical Swiss sausage chopped up with different Swiss cheese, onions, and then you can have two different types. You can have the one with or without lettuce, and then the dressing, and that's it. Very simple, very hearty. I like it every now and again. It is quite filling, but yeah, that's actually a very Swiss thing that you could try. Although you do have that in Germany as well. Not that.
Oh,
Yeah. But definitely worth trying if that's for you. If you're more on the go, a very typical thing that I think you and I won't really recommend is the typical bratwurst or sausage that you can get with your piece of bread. It's okay, it's fine, but you gotta get a really good sausage. So for instance, the bratwurst, you need to go to Eastern Switzerland. They do phenomenal bratwurst.
St. Gallen, right?
Right. And if you had one of them ever, you will never go back because it's just so much different. You will get good sausages here, but for me, it would be like grilled sausage with like a potato salad when we go to a lake and bring out a little barbecue and stuff. That's pretty much what we would do. Other than that, I think the best and wisest thing you should do, because that's what's fresh. Usually you have lunch deals in every Swiss restaurant. You have a lunch menu with probably 3 different meals. You have 2 probably like protein based. You have your veggie, and you have like a daily soup or a daily salad. And this is what is probably going to be your best bet, because that's what's fresh, that's what's been planned for that day.
And also it's affordable as well.
It's more affordable than other stuff, I would say. Yeah. So that was it for lunch. Moving on, a thing that is similar to the Znuni, which is now at 4 o'clock. So it's at Svieri. What do we do at 4 o'clock, babe? Well, what do we do at 4 o'clock? What could you do at 4 o'clock?
What you could do is go to a bakery again and have a cake and a coffee.
Yes. So essentially the Swiss tea time, if you think about it.
Ah, yeah. It's like, the Swiss tea time, yeah. Even so, it's actually
Do you realize that people might think, like, what do you guys do besides going to bakeries and restaurants? We do actually work.
Well, this is why I'm a personal trainer, so we can.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So
coffee and a cake. It's like the British tea time.
Yeah.
Really. So it's,
we love our coffee here.
Oh, well, I obviously drink my tea, but every now and again I do have a coffee, and it is good.
Yeah. Coffee,
really
I like coffee here, it's good. I mean, I'm more of a flat white person, but...
As your Kiwi roots coming through.
Yes. But I gotta say, coffee here is really good, and more is the whole around it, coffee culture, going to a bakery, sit down, either in the morning or in the afternoon. But yeah, that's a thing we call Svieri, which it takes place at 4 o'clock. Moving on to probably the best part of the day, dinner.
Dinner time.
Now, obviously, this is a huge playground. There are so many meals that you could try, so we're just gonna pick probably our favorites, and it's very seasonal, I would say.
Yeah, Switzerland, we're very lucky with the seasons because we do have quite strong seasons with food-wise. For example, springtime, we love our asparagus.
Yeah.
Asparagus, and you've got your fruits, you've got your strawberries, your rhubarb, and then
rhubarb, yes.
Oh yeah, you can make some good stuff out of rhubarb, which I actually did during the lockdown.
Yeah, she did.
I did. And then towards autumn, this is where you've got to eat game food, and this is Mark's heaven.
My favorite season of the year. Quick story on that note. Tomorrow morning, I am lucky enough to accompany a friend of mine because it's apparently season to hunt game. Hunt is a very harsh word, but game has to be contained. So anyway, I'm accompanying him to see what the whole process is like. I eat game meat, I eat game food, I love it. It's my favorite season in terms of food of the year. And I think it's very interesting for me to go and see what the whole process is like, because from what we know from our friends, it's very a respectful process.
Very respectful, yeah.
I will want to document it, like make a short documentary, more about the background on why there are seasons and where it's coming from. But I'll keep that for another video. But I do love game season, which is in autumn. Do we have any other? Well, winter. What would you say winter is? Very heavy dishes, I would say.
Fondue and raclette.
Yeah. Well, we covered that in the Swiss fun facts as well.
We did.
Raclette is the one that's actually Swiss. So, I mean, obviously you'll find it everywhere in summer. There are actually areas in Switzerland which, take raclette or fondue like their Sunday roast. They have it every Sunday.
In valleys, right?
Yeah.
Valleys.
The home of the Matterhorn. That area, I think there's villages that have it every Sunday.
If you can't quite remember what the Matterhorn is, maybe you don't know. If you look at Toblerone, it's that mountain there.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah, perfect. Most people, I think, have it in winter because it's quite heavy. I think we do that as well.
Yeah, that's true.
So what dishes would you personally recommend people trying when they come here?
It's a very simple dish. It's like a working's man dish. I love cockers and hernley. What it is, it's minced meat with onions, with garlic, with carrots. You know what I realised? It's the base of a cottage pie.
So essentially the cottage pie filling on top of twisted mac.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It is.
Good. Yeah, that is a very affordable and nice meal.
You can get that at the Christmas markets as well. So good, like a little bowl and super hearty.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to do a hearty dish but meat-free, here's the original mac and cheese for you. We call it
Alpine mac.
Well, in English we call it Alpine mac. It's Alper Macarona.
Alper macaroni.
So, sounds funny. Macarona is actually macaroni, and Alper means Alpine. So, Alpine mac. And what it is essentially mac and cheese, but you add potatoes and roast onions. And I'll never forget this. We did this for our American friends once when we went over for New Year's Eve. And we cooked Alpine mac for them. And one of these guys is a chef. And he was like, 2 carbs in 1 dish. It's like, I need to try this. And I think they were quite amazed with the dish.
I think they liked it.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's quite a heavy one, but definitely one worth trying.
It's perfect when you're in the mountains.
If you
Super
go
hearty,
skiing,
super warm.
snowboarding. Yeah, that is a very good dish. I would say, obviously, game food for me is my favorite. If I had to pick one favorite right away, it would also be a dish from Zurich. It's also quite hearty. We call it sliced veal Zurich style. We call it in German Zürich Schnatzlitz. We have a lot of funny words. Our language must sound so funny if you're from an English speaking country or whatever. It's just so funny. But anyway, sliced veal Zurich style, the name pretty much gives it away. What it is sliced veal.
Oh, really?
Usually, not finished, usually in like a cream sauce with mushrooms, and you serve it on a bed of fresh rösti. That is obviously a thing that you have to try because, again, that is a Swiss dish, rösti, hash browns, right?
Oh.
But, carry on.
Oh, I've got to interject here. Speaking about rösti, when you're in the mountains, so you've got your rösti, then you have your fried egg and a little bit of bacon on top. And then you can mix the rösti with the runny egg.
Yeah, you like your rösti. In fact, I'm going to have to make one this weekend.
Yes, please.
Yes, I will make a rösti this weekend. Yeah, hash brown, or as it's originally said, rösti, is something that is from here. It's definitely something you should try. You can go without the meat, without the egg. If you are on a plant-based diet, that is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
But you gotta try a fresh rösti. Another thing that you could try for breakfast, I forgot that to begin with, is a so-called Zopf. A Zopf is a sort of a sweet bread.
Yeah.
And it's platted.
So like, you know, the girls with the plaits, it's like that.
Yeah.
That's how it's done.
And typically, you can get it any day, I think, but typically I remember it to be on Sunday where you get that.
Yeah.
Where you get your Zopf on Sunday.
Actually, every now and again we do that. We go on a Sunday, we go to the bakery, and also our neighbour upstairs, bless her.
The same one that makes great cakes for us.
Yes, the same one. Every now and again we get like little jam pots.
Yeah.
So we use
fresh
her jam. Her jam with fresh warm Zopf on Sunday.
How badly do you want to eat something right now?
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway, what else would you recommend in terms of food? I mean, we have a lot of good food. And if you ask the question, like, so what do locals eat? Where do locals go? Well, I mean, just like anywhere else, we have stuff that is probably not Swiss. We have a lot of Italian restaurants that are really good here. A lot of good Asian food.
Great Asian food.
But in terms of Swiss food, there is obviously heaps that you can try. Another very typical Swiss thing is calf's liver on rösti as well, on hash brown. Not for you. It's a texture, not the taste. Although you did have venison liver just a week ago.
Yeah, I had venison liver. Where was it? Last weekend?
Yeah.
Last weekend. Wow. Fantastic. fantastic.
That's really
Very lucky enough to try that.
Yeah.
From the guy you're going hunting with.
Tomorrow, yeah. Just to be clear, I am not hunting. I'm just a
Oh, not
company.
hunting. Yes,
I'm
that's
following. But yeah, anyway, it's going to be interesting. A cultural aspect that you might come across at dinner time as well. Restaurants will be chock-a-blocked. You'll notice that again. Just like lunch, we like going out. We like to socialize and be amongst other people. You might, in typical Swiss restaurants, you might find one table that is empty. And usually in the middle it has some sort of metal bowl kind of thing looking, and it says Stammtisch, which essentially means this is a table for locals. And you absolutely must not sit down there.
Do not sit
Do
there.
not sit there.
No.
This is, and even if the restaurant is chock-a-block, this table is gonna stay empty until the locals who always sit there, sit down there.
Exactly.
Just bear that in mind. That is very, very important.
Yes.
So yeah, I think as a bit of an overview on what you could do for breakfast, go to your snoonie, go and have some lunch somewhere and soak up that atmosphere on how to celebrate lunch. If you have room for it at 4 o'clock, go and get yourself, it's fieri,
Sweetie.
4 o'clock. And then indulge in some of the very rich yet beautiful dishes that Switzerland has to offer. Like I said, there is heaps more. This is just a bit of an overview of what we have. Before we wrap it up, we have something to do, don't we?
The rapid fire round.
Alright, rapid fire questions. I know it's a cheesy intro. Probably get something better done at some point. Works for now. So you know the drill. We have 5 questions prepared for one another,
Correct.
and you essentially just
One or the other answer.
answer as quick as possible.
Yes.
Would you like to start?
Okay.
Alright.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. Coffee creme or espresso?
Coffee creme.
Raclette or fondue?
Oh!
Come on.
Fondue.
Cockatzenhörnli or Zürich Schnetzler?
Zürich Schnetzlitz.
Heiße Offi or hot chocolate?
Heiße Offi.
Frey or Lindt chocolate?
Frey. Oh.
Woo!
Oh, wow, okay. Yeah, good. I'm pretty happy with my answers.
Okay.
You'll notice that a couple of questions are obviously quite similar, but
Okay.
We'll see how you do. You ready?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. English breakfast or Swiss snoonie?
Swiss snoonie.
Okay, Swiss snoonie. Birchermüsli, Zopf or Rösti?
Birchermüsli.
Raclette or fondue?
Raclette.
Favorite food season in Switzerland?
Herbst. Autumn.
Autumn. Cottage pie or Cockatzenhörnli?
Cottage pie.
You traitor! Oh, I'm surprised you went for Birchermüsli. I would have seen you going for Rösti.
Rösti, yeah.
I had a feeling you'd choose raclette.
Uh-huh.
Good girl. Hello, England. You've lost one to the Swiss. Swiss breakfast over the English breakfast.
Yeah.
All right, cool. That was interesting. Obviously, very obvious. Swiss food. All right, that was it for the rapid fire round.
Alrighty.
See you guys. Hope you enjoyed this week's video, a little bit of an overview of Swiss cuisine. Next week, we'll tackle something different. As you can see, Swiss food is very heavy, or it can be very heavy, and also very meat intense.
Yeah.
And for around 6 months, we've been practicing something that particularly stems from Layla's point of view. And what is that?
Plant-based. So from Monday to Thursday, Monday to Friday, we've been going plant-based. So that means cutting out dairy, cutting out meat, and more veggies.
In the week, that's correct. And we've been practicing that for 6 months now. So, and next week's video, we will try and cover a little bit on why we're doing it, So why going plant-based at least in the week? And also how we do it, to give you some ideas that plant-based food is actually super delicious. And I'll give you some insight. I love my barbecue. I love barbecuing meat as well. But it took some courage for me to put something non-meaty on the barbecue. I'll show you that in the next episode.
It was delicious.
It tastes delicious, I have to say. So we'll bring that to you in the next episode. A little bit of an insight on how we tackle that whole topic and why. So that's been it from us this week.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed. And let us know in the comments if there's anything you think we forgot. Share it with the people that hopefully travel here at one point, what they should have.
Yeah, cool.
Other than that, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.
Yes.